Hello, it is FMC. I'm Jeremy. That is SP3. It is Tuesday, September 24th. We have, I would say, a lot to talk about, but I don't know if we do have a lot to talk about. We have the challenge to talk about. We have a heated episode of the challenge to talk about. Our pal Cher Delware will be joining us here shortly to talk about the challenge. But until we get into that, SP3, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing well. Glad to be here on a Tuesday. Glad to be here with Jeremy and all of you watching. And what an episode of the challenge! This season of the challenge, 5 episodes in, is the best season since War of the Worlds 2, which was like what 5 seasons ago now.
Oh,
Sheesh.
hey.
It's been a while since we've had so many of like the bigger personalities, the bigger stars of the challenge on one season, and seeing how everything shapes out. It's been very fun watching this season so far.
It's been a really good season thus far, and I look forward to as it continues moving forward. But we'll get into the challenge here shortly. I know you want to talk a little bit about 90 Day Fiance. I wanted to give you an update on. So I've been playing some 2K whenever I get an opportunity to NBA 2K.
Okay.
So I created my player, right? I created a 6'10 small forward, modeled my game after Kevin Durant, even though F Kevin Durant. Not 5 minutes in yet, so bleep myself. Do you know what team I chose to go to, SP3?
What team is that?
Your Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, look at that.
I figured their small forward's not great. Like Hachimura is the starter in the game because LeBron, they put him at power forward because they put Davis at center, which isn't like technically, true because Davis doesn't
Not a
play
thing.
center. Yeah. But so they have Hachimura starting as the small forward. And I was like, I can play here. Like LeBron's gonna retire after a season. Davis is good. He's a good little pick and roll partner. He can rebound and everything. Like as a scoring small forward, I feel like is a good fit for this team.
Makes sense.
You can request trades to happen in this game. Like teams your team to trade for certain players, right? So I requested my first trade request was for Zion. I was like, go get Zion. Let's see what happens. They didn't get Zion. My second trade request was, I don't even remember for who, but they didn't end up getting him either. It was another power forward. I'm trying to think who it was, and my memory is just completely.
You just really wanted LeBron to play another position and then power forward.
No. So to tell you the truth, I wanted them to trade Anthony Davis. I was hoping they would trade Anthony Davis. I can't request it. Like I tried to get Anthony Davis traded, but it's like you cannot request your own teammates to be traded. I was like, what? Why not? Come on now. I'm on LeBron's team. He would do this in a heartbeat. So I really wanted Anthony Davis to get traded because he keeps stealing all my rebounds. I'm trying to get these triple doubles, and Davis keeps stealing all my rebounds, so I can't get my triple doubles. So I wanted him to get traded. And I was like, if we get like a smaller position player, like we can go real super small ball with like Zion. It was like another power forward who could like maybe slot over to play center. And again, I can't remember who it actually was, but it was someone like Zion side. Maybe it was like Jaren Jackson or somebody. Again, it was like a smaller power forward who could possibly play center. So I wanted them to trade Anthony Davis. They didn't trade for the second person. Let's pretend it's Jaren Jackson. Then I tried a different approach. I was like, what if I get like a guard? Let's get another guard in there. Because maybe if I get like a 90 to 95 overall guard, they'll trade Davis and then they'll just play Jared Vanderbilt or Jackson Hayes.
Trying to ruin my team. Look at this. Look at this sabotage you're doing.
They'll just play one of those guys at center, and then I can get like Vanderbilt doesn't have good rebounding stats. I can get rebounds over him. I'll be okay. I requested they trade for Donovan Mitchell. I was like, let's get Donovan Mitchell in here, and then hopefully they trade Davis again. Pretty similar overall. It'll be fine. They traded for Donovan Mitchell. The trade for Donovan Mitchell if Rob Pelinka could actually pull this off in real life, one, he couldn't. Two,
Yes, he could. Rob Pelinka, General Executive of the Year. Come on, man.
Show you. I took a picture of it. Let me show you this trade. Hold on. Where's my photos? Hopefully I don't get like a message that comes through or anything. I don't know if you can see this, SP Theory. I should put it up on my screen. Can you see that? Yeah, it's very difficult.
No, I can't see it.
A 2025 second round pick from the Nuggets.
Okay.
A 2025 second round pick from the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
A 2025 second round pick from the Lakers. 3 seconds and Rory Hachimura for Donovan Mitchell.
That's outrageous. That's outrageous. I would love it. I would
So
love it.
Here's the best part of this whole thing. So LeBron got injured in my game like 5 games before. It was like a strained hip, and he played through it. He was like fine. He was like his stats got downgraded a little bit, but he played through it for the next couple of games. Imagine my surprise when I play the next game, and the new starting lineup is D'Angelo Russell, Donovan Mitchell, myself, Jared Vanderbilt, and Anthony Davis. I thought they traded LeBron for Donovan Mitchell, and I was heated. I was like, you traded LeBron and not Anthony Davis for Donovan Mitchell. What is happening here? I was so mad. So I played through the whole game, and then I checked the lineup and stuff, and come to find out, no, that was the trade. And I guess they were like, well, we have Donovan Mitchell now. We can put LeBron on injured reserve.
Yeah,
he doesn't need to play anymore. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, this is the greatest trade of all time. You traded a guy who wasn't really playing because I took his starting job. And then 3 seconds, I don't care about these second round picks for Donovan Mitchell. This is going to be great. So when LeBron gets back, the starting lineup is Russell, Donovan, myself, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves as the 6th man.
Y'all win the championship.
If we don't win the title, something is wrong. I'm still mad that Anthony Davis steals all of my rebounds, but I mean, this team is absolutely stacked. Absolutely stacked.
Don't knock him for being a good rebounder, sir. It's okay.
I'm mad because he takes all mine. Like, there's so many that are like right to me, and he just like leaps in 5 feet out of the picture and just steals. I'm like, dude, can you not just let me have this rebound?
Leaping from like the free throw line to
come up. I'm like, can I not just have this? I will get the rebound. I promise you. It's fine. I need to
don't trust you.
I need to institute the Russell Westbrook of just like, no, this is mine. Let me get my triple double and let's move forward. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
What's your overall?
Mad. What's that?
What's your overall?
Oh, right now 73 because you start at like a 61, so you start god awful, and you got to like grind. I'm not purchasing VC. So you got to like grind to get your numbers up. But I put everything on to start with. I put everything on my mid-range shots and my 3-point shot because I just wanted to just like shoot the ball a lot. And I had to get those numbers up to get the Kevin Durant shooting animation because I used to be really familiar with that back when I used OKC all the time. And like, it's really simple to get down. So I was like, okay, I could just take wide open threes and wide open mid-range shots and then just kind of get my numbers up through there. So that's what I put all my like VC on that to start with. And then I've slowly been working on just like kind of other stuff. But yeah, I'm 73 overall right now.
And this is the new 2K?
Yeah, the one that came out like earlier this month.
What do you think about it so far?
Oh, it's good. I like last year's game. It's similar to last year's game. Like, they didn't overhaul it too much. They added some nice little features, but they didn't do too much to like really overhauling it, which was fine because I really liked last year's game, so I wasn't looking for anything. I think 2K over the past few years, there was one year, it was a couple years ago, where like they completely changed the shooting animation and they completely changed like the shooting bar and stuff. And like if you didn't green, you weren't hitting anything. Like the mid-range game became pointless because unless you timed it perfectly, you weren't going to hit it. And I didn't have time to like I didn't like playing my player a whole lot. I just kind of got into it last year. But and I didn't have time to.
Well, because they freaking, I've heard they laxed on franchise mode. They just don't even care anymore.
Well, they do like the eras thing, and that's always fun
I
to
heard the
do.
eras thing is bad. Like
It's
The Steph Curry era has like I think the percentage I heard is like 60 or 50% of the teams are like actually accurate. Like they don't have Andre Iguodala in the game. So if you want to start on the Golden
I don't
State
think that's
Warriors,
true.
well, in the Steph Curry era, that's what I
Yeah.
heard. As I
Oh, I
heard
mean, I can
from one
literally
of the
check this
main
right now.
2K stream or like YouTubers that I go to, like King of the Fourth Quarter or something like that. I
I
think
don't
he
think
had said that.
I don't know if that's
It
true.
maybe that was on the early with before the patch or before any of the patches or updates happened. That's what King of the Fourth Quarter, because I used to be heavy into all the franchise mode YouTubers like King of the Fourth Quarter, Six Rings of Steel, and I watched recently, like this is the first time in like nearly a year I've watched any of their channels, and I was watching King of the Fourth Quarter, and he was complaining about the franchise mode.
I'm gonna check. As I feel Iguodala's definitely been in the game over the past few years. So like it's not
Yeah.
a likeness issue or anything. Okay. Actually I started for some he's not on that Warriors team. That's so weird. He's always been in the
Mm-hmm.
game.
Yeah, I think it's because of like collective bargaining agreement, and because Iguodala wasn't signed to a team, like they couldn't use him in the game. That's what I think King of the Fourth Quarter was saying.
That's so weird because yeah, he's
I know.
always been in the game. Was John Wall was on the Wizards, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not on the Wizards.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like like it's very rare because he has a good relationship with the 2K market. King of the Fourth Quarter is like one of the like the most known like YouTubers when it comes to NBA 2K. He's even been on like ESPN and Stephen A. Smith's show and stuff like that. So he has a good relationship. He got the game early, and that was like the second video he did on it. He played the franchise mode and then did a whole video complaining about it. And he's like, yeah, and someone, and then he showed like a internet page of someone who broke it down and was like, the Kobe era is the most accurate, where you have like 8 players from each of the teams, but like, how is the Steph Curry era, which is probably the most recent era? He says that one has the least percentage of accurate teams because there's so many big players missing from certain teams.
That's so weird because I'm fairly certain. I'm just gonna back out here. Yeah, I'm fairly certain Iguodala is like actually in the game is the thing. So it's weird to me that he is not part of like he's not part of the era portion. I gotta figure out where
Mm-hmm.
to go to. Probably in features. Yeah, roster. Okay. I think I can look at where's all time at. Why do I have to do this modern era nonsense? Why can't I just look at all time roster? That's dumb. It's very dumb that I just can't look at all time roster. I probably should go to play now and look at it. So I only did the Steph era just because I wanted to all time NBA teams. Okay, here we go. Because that's the start of how can I look at the entire team? Oh, I don't know what I just did. No, that's not great. Okay. Oh, I don't know if he would be in maybe the all-time Philly team
Maybe.
because he is. Oh, there's edit lineups. Okay.
Kind
I like how
of
they have Wilt Chamberlain coming off the bench.
on the all-time Philly team.
Yeah.
Behind Joel Embiid.
No, Moses Malone.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's
Embiid's coming off the bench too.
It's like too many centers. Too many
Yeah,
centers.
yeah,
I used to do seasons with the all-time teams just because the all-time Lakers is just ridiculous to play
yeah,
with.
yeah. Is Iguodala not in the game this year? He's 1,000,000% been in the game in the past because I always
Yeah,
drafted him because I
but he's not currently like signed to a team. So I think that's why they said like the whole video that he said the reason why like certain players aren't there, like you said, Ja Wall, is because they're not currently signed, so they're not a part of the collective bargaining agreement to be a part of the game.
that's so weird. John Wall's always been in the game. Is he not on like the all-time like Washington Wizards team? I didn't even recognize that these guys weren't in the game this year.
Yeah.
That's so weird. All right. Well, I only did the Steph era because it's the start of OKC and or like the Russ OKC. So I was like, oh, I can use like MVP Russ and everything. And
Yeah.
then like Enes Kanter isn't on the team. And so like the team's awful anyway, but at least Enes Kanter is a good, at least in those years, like was a good backup
Yeah.
center who could do some stuff. That seems really bad. You take away like him, like it's basically Oladipo who wasn't as good, and Steven Adams. That's like it for that team. Yeah, the era. I didn't understand why they added the Steph era in the first place. It felt very like, oh, Steph just had a cool Olympics, and obviously like Steph's an all-time great. I'm not trying to take anything away from Steph, but they had the LeBron era already, and the Steph era was just like too close to that.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are we doing a Steph era when the LeBron era is like 4 years beforehand? Is this really that necessary? And yeah, if you can't get like everybody in there, you probably shouldn't do it. So I don't know how
Yeah.
many people are playing the Steph era. I like doing like all-time draft, and I like doing the start modern day and then using like random draft classes. So like you start modern day, but like this year's draft class might be the Tracy McGrady draft.
Yeah.
And then so you can go from there. That's what I like doing anyway. So for me, like that stuff is still fun to do.
Yeah. That's fair, but yeah, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this game because I haven't gotten a 2K in a couple of years. I've been off of video games really since my kids. I think since my kids turned like 2, I've been not playing video games as often as I used to. So I haven't got 2K. I haven't even. I think I still have an Xbox One, and that Xbox One doesn't even work. So I need a whole new system, and don't really have money with 2 kids like that to get the PS5s or the Xbox Series One. So waiting a few. Now that I got another job to add to my list of jobs, maybe in by Christmas time I can get a system or something. But yeah, but hearing about 2K from like YouTubers and stuff like that, I was just like, that doesn't sound too good. Like, what's the point?
I mean, well, especially once basketball season starts.
Yeah,
Like,
then it's gonna be fun. Yeah.
yeah. And I since I got into my player last year, like I really enjoy just kind of doing that and just using one person, especially designing him kind of like last year I did a point guard, like a kind of a pass first point guard. And this year I kind of did a Kevin Durant. So I'm more shooting. And so I like trying to play different styles. Like OKC is going to be good this year
Yeah.
as well. So
And my player is like the one of the modes that they do update. They do update
yeah,
your
because they want you to play online and they want you to spend a bunch of money on it, which I don't
yeah.
do. So I don't care
Yeah,
about
my
that
player
aspect of it.
and my court are the ones that they improve on because they want you to spend the extra additional money on VC and all that.
Yeah. All right. Our pal share Delaware is here. It's easy for me to say. So let's go ahead and bring her on and we can talk about the challenge. Maybe. There we go. Oh, hello, Cher Delaware.
Hello.
Are you driving?
No,
Oh, okay. It sounds like you're in a car.
that's my air conditioner.
Oh, okay. Fair. How are you doing?
Oh, I do have to tell you about 90 days before we get into the challenge. But how are you doing, Cher?
I'm good. I'm tired, so I'm in bed. That's why you hear my air conditioner.
Fair.
Also, it's like 68 degrees outside, and I have the air conditioner on. So
It's been
Okay.
rainy and disgusting here. It's awful.
yeah,
Same here.
it's rained here for like 3 days, and it's not supposed to stop raining for like 8 more days. I'm over it already.
Yeah, it's terrible. All right, SP3. Do we need 90 seconds for 90 days?
I don't know if I have 90 seconds because this is like one of the most interesting casts. I might have a little bit more than 90 seconds to explain.
I'll give you as much time as you need. It's fine.
All right, so it's a new season of Before the 90 Days, and I think that by far this has the most interesting cast that has ever been assembled on a Before 90 Day Fiance cast here. So, all right, so first of all, they have this woman named her name's Tiger Lily, and basically, yes,
that's not her real name.
I don't know. We haven't. Yeah, she didn't specify that. Oh, it's just a fake name or anything like that.
I'm dying because people name like Rose and Lily and Daisy, and they're like, you know what? Fuck it, Tiger Lily. That's what we're going with.
No way, this is her real name. No way.
Tiger Lily, she is engaged to Adnan, who's from Jordan. So apparently, Tiger Lily is 41 and Adnan is 23. So that should tell you tell you a general thing right there. But Tiger Lily got divorced because she was a part of this had a very possessive and controlling relationship with her ex-husband. And her ex-husband, they had 2 kids together. So he's paying her alimony, and she is like paid out the woozah. She lives in like a mansion. She's an online influencer that makes money off of her phone. So she's very well off. And she's with Adnan. They met online 2 years ago. And the whole setup for this was that she was going to see Adnan for the first time, going to Jordan, and they were going to get married on the day she gets there. And she literally tells her life coach, we're gonna get married once I get there to Jordan, our first time meeting each other. And the life coach was like, oh wait, are you serious? She's like, yeah, I don't see anything wrong. And the life coach and everyone watching at home is just like, what? Why would you do that? Why would you do such a thing? So she keeps making excuses of why it's going to be fine and everything. And Adnan he comes from a Muslim background. So he's basically just as controlling as Tiger Lily's ex-husband because he wants to control what she wears. She can't be in the same room as a man without him being there or another woman being there. So literally she only has friends that she pays, basically. Because her friends that we've met so far is the life coach. It's her glam squad. That's a hairdresser and a makeup artist. And the hairdresser and makeup artist, her glam squad, went with her to Jordan. And she gave them the day off. So she got another hairdresser at the hotel. And it was a man. And Adnan had to sit there and watch them because he can't leave his wife in the room with another man. And as he's doing it,
really sad.
He put on a clock and he says, okay, you have 5 minutes to finish her hair.
Like, this is awful, but all these people are terrible. So
I want to feel bad for her because of this, but then also I feel like I should feel worse for her because her name is fucking Tiger Lily. So it's like, what's worse, the freaking abusive, controlling relationship or her name?
I'm telling you, Cher, I'm telling you the same thing I told Jeremy. This is the season of before 90 days or any 90-day fiance season. Y'all need to just jump in headfirst and watch it because all these people are new. So you don't have to have any previous background on them. They're all new people here. So this is a perfect season for anybody who was on 90 days or watched 90 days before and took off a couple of seasons and want to get back in. This is the perfect season. Or if you never watched 90 days before, this is also the perfect season to jump back in. So our next couple is Rain, who's from I'm sorry. She spells it Ryne. And as y'all know, that's the same spelling as my daughter's middle name. And we call her Harlem Rain. So I keep trying to call her Rain, but she says that her name is pronounced Renee.
Sure.
I would like to just say that is my middle name, and that is not how that is spelled. Spell it one more time for me.
Rayne.
That's Rain.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I get Renee. I mean,
it would not be Renee. It would be Renee.
Yeah,
if she was gonna do Rainy or something. That's Rain.
But that's not the best part about this. She's with Shitty, who's from Nigeria, and he's blonde.
Shitty.
Yeah, Shitty.
How's Shitty's name spelled?
Chidi.
Shitty.
Chidi. You gotta go Chitty at that point. You gotta
do the hard cha on that. Yeah. You can't do Chicago. You gotta do Chattanooga on that. You gotta go Chitty. Freaking shitty and can't spell my name Renee. Good God.
So he is very religious. You know, he's blind, but he's very religious. He has a good, relationship with God, and he's like renewed in his faith.
Wait. Did you say he was blonde or blind?
Blind.
I got blonde out of that, and I was like, "Why are you telling me that he's blonde?"
No. I wouldn't specify that.
I was like, does that matter because his name's Shitty? I'm confused.
Renee is a chicken farmer from New Mexico, and she basically is not very religious. She actually believes in aliens. So I respect it too, but she believes that she is woke and he is not woke because he has such a good relationship with God, and that she's gonna make him just as woke as her. She wants to change.
Well, now I hate both of them for using woke. So.
She legitimately said woke. So she's a chicken farmer, but she's very in love with chickens. But at the same time, she eats chicken. So it made this scene that they have when she goes to Nigeria and they take her to the market and they go, in Nigeria, they have an open market with animals, with chickens there, and they're going to take the chicken, kill the chicken so they can have chicken to eat. And she is just very adamant about not killing the chicken. Like, she was like, if you kill the chicken, I'm going to be very mad. Don't kill the chicken. Like, literally making her eyes like that to her sister, to Shitty's sister. And she was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Do you eat chicken? And she was like, well, yeah, I do. I go to the market and I buy the produce chicken. And it's just like, wait, what? Why are you so upset then? Do you not realize that the chicken that you buy at the market, they do the same thing, but you just don't see it?
What is the show?
And Shitty doesn't want to basically sleep with her until they're married, and she's very upset with that because she said that her and Shitty would talk about having sex when before she got there. So that's just a synopsis for them. Now, one of the wildest couples on here. Let me see if I got all of these right. Okay, one of the wildest couples is Ingrid and Brian. Brian is from Illinois, and Ingrid is from Brazil. Brian, when
finally
he was younger,
some normal names. I'm so excited for some normal names.
Well, Brian, when he was younger, he was a drug dealer, and he sold drugs for 5 years. And apparently,
of course he did. He's from Illinois.
Yeah, this is true. So apparently his second wife, he broke up with his second wife while he was selling drugs, and she basically arranged a carjacking for him where he accidentally got shot, and now he's in a wheelchair, and he's been in a wheelchair for a couple of years. So this is the story he explained to Ingrid, and Ingrid was just like, "Whoa, that's a lot." But his whole thing, he's in a wheelchair, so he wants to be with someone that understands what he goes through. But he told her beforehand that he was very independent, that he still, he lives on his own, he drives on his own, he's very independent, but he still wants to see how comfortable she is with all the things that it takes to be with someone that's in a wheelchair. So he basically, on the first night they meet, he's like telling her, "Oh, I need you to put this thing in my car so I'm able to drive, so do the pedals because he doesn't have, function in his legs." So he's like, "Do that." Then he's like, "Oh, I need you to help me into the shower and stuff like that. Take off my clothes, help me in the shower." Then he takes it one step too far where he asks her to put on his catheter, which is his way to use the bathroom when he's in the bed. And she's like, "Whoa, that's just way too much." So she's asking questions like, did he lie to me about him being so independent? Is he looking for a lover, or a girlfriend, a wife, or is he looking for a caregiver, like a carer? So they're in the car, and she's already thinking that. And then he tells her, he's asking about her family and asking how old is her father. And she says her father is 54 and she's 32. And he's like, "Oh, your father's 54. Oh, he's just a little bit older than me. I'm 51. She was like, "Wait, you didn't tell me you were 51. We met on a dating site and it said your profile, you were 45. So he lied about that as well. Then he tells her the whole story about how he got into a wheelchair. So that's all going bad. But the craziest couple that we've met so far is Lauren and Faith. Lauren is 33. He's from Nevada. Faith is 31, and she's from the Philippines. Lauren is basically a jack of all trades. He does multiple different jobs, but he has no home. He's officially homeless. That's how he introduced himself. He says he's officially homeless. He goes from couch to couch, lives with a couple of friends and whatnot. And he
Sounds
doesn't
like
have
he's a jack of no trades if he gets a house.
Off camera, off the show, he did explain that he has an ex-wife and he has 2 kids with the ex-wife, and he's paying her alimony. So any money that he does make, it goes straight to her. She takes all his money. She's literally the person that got him on the show to take all the money from the show. That's what he explained in an interview off camera. So he basically is with Faith, who's from the Philippines, and he wants to go to the Philippines and live with her because Faith works at a hotel that gives her housing where she lives in the hotel, and that's kind of what he wants. But he also lets us know that he is non-monogamous, so he doesn't believe in being with just one person. He also has basically a love for transgendered women. But he specified, literally in the first interview we met him, he specified he likes transgendered women who still have a penis.
Whatever.
So I was like, that's fine. That's fine. That's all.
I just think moving to the Philippines to work in a hotel to live there is quite a leap. I mean, you can't do something else. Like that's your only option.
But he literally lets her know, like, she helps him meet like her mother figure that works in the hotel, and he's like, "Well, I'm homeless, so I have to move here. Like, it's better, I can get a job over there, and it'll be fine over there." And Faith, this is like one of her first relationships, as they call it like in the Philippines as ladyboy, but like as a transgender who's kind of like fully accepted who she is. She's like, this is the first person in her life that really loves her for her.
Oh, so she is transgender.
Yes, she is transgender.
Okay. Because I was like, how's this going to work if that's what he likes? I got you.
She is transgendered, but everything is like, it seemed like they had a good meeting, even though he said he was homeless and whatnot, and he was very like impulsive. She took him to the market, and he only had $46, and everything was so cheap. So he's like, oh, let me buy this for you. Let me buy this for you. This is great. I only have a little bit of money, but I can spend it. It's like I'm splurging on you. And everything seemed to be going fine, despite him saying that he was homeless, until the end of this last episode, where he tells the cameraman that he just got off the phone with one of his friends, and one of his friends stayed with him the night before he left, and she went down on him. And he says that she just called him to let him know that she had gonorrhea of the throat, and now that means that he has gonorrhea of the penis.
Pardon?
Yes, this is word for word. That's what he said. He said that she went down on him.
Never heard of gonorrhea of the throat before.
That is what he said. I'm just repeating what he said. And literally on the coming attractions on the next episode, Faith wants to kiss him, and he's like, "Oh, I can't kiss you." And she was like, "Wait, why can't you kiss me?" And he's like, "Because I have gonorrhea."
I got a message from the wife who just says, "What the fuck is wrong with all these people?"
I told you, this is one of the wildest seasons. Like me and my missus are just watching it, just like, this is probably the most collective amount of people that is just all messed up. It's all messed up.
I feel like I need to, but don't want to Google gonorrhea of the throat.
No, that's probably gonna ruin some search history there. Yeah, I don't know if I'd go with that. You're gonna.
No, Sam, we haven't gotten into the episode yet.
No, we're talking 90 Day Fiance.
God, this is not the challenge. They do not have gonorrhea of the throat.
No.
I mean, that we know of.
That we know of.
There's a few people who might, but
they don't specify that yet.
Yeah.
There is like one more couple, but they're not. It hasn't got as interesting as everybody else yet. Is Vay, who's 27 from Florida, and Sunny, who's 26 from South Africa. They fall in love and are both anticipating a proposal when they finally meet, when Vay goes over to South Africa. But Vay is nervous about traveling alone, so she's taking her ex-boyfriend with her to meet her new boyfriend.
Wow.
Which, like I said, I think it's going to get interesting once that happens, because she hasn't told him. She hasn't told Sunny that she's coming with her ex-boyfriend, despite Sunny saying he doesn't like how close she is to her ex-boyfriend.
Good luck to them with that. All right. We might have to watch this. I don't know. We're looking for new stuff to watch.
I'm just saying.
There is new Love is Blind season that starts next week.
Yeah.
On my anniversary. So yes, it comes out then. That's how I'll be spending my anniversary, just watching Love is Blind.
I mean, that's better than watching people talk about gonorrhea of the throat.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. Oh, never mind. The wife says, "Don't inflict this on me." So might be checked out on this already.
That's my favorite part of this. I will never watch 90 Day because I get to hear SP3 talk about it, and I have no clue what he's talking about, and he just says the most absurd shit ever. That's why I'll never watch it.
Oh god. Let's get into the challenge, and let's just start off with it. Laurel and Cara immediately, just not immediately. There's other stuff that was happening. As people know, SP3 is the top recapper here when it comes to this kind of stuff. There's other stuff that happened leading up to all of this.
But this was all anybody talked about.
Yes. Laurel and Cara once again got into things. SP3, set this all up. Explain what happened here.
All right. So this all stems from the Laurel and Michelle beef that started on Ride or Dies when Michelle and Jay voted in Jack and Laurel. So basically, Laurel was going around handing notes to a couple of her friends, and she hands a note to Michelle and then takes it back and says, "Oh, I thought you were Avery." And that was like a weird interaction for Michelle. And
go ahead. Sorry.
And apparently, how we saw it looked like Michelle went into the room that Laurel was at, and basically wanted to talk to her because she felt like there was kind of like weird vibes going on between the two. But as I've gone down the rabbit hole that is the challenge and everything stemming that wasn't put on this episode, I found out how things transpired was before all of that, before the note and then her taking it away. Laurel had been kind of nice to Michelle. And basically, Michelle kind of expressed herself, talked about her family. They had a hour-long talk where, Laurel was asking her different questions, and Michelle explained in an interview on IG Live that Laurel is a very interesting person to talk to because she asks very intriguing questions and asks questions different from everybody else. But apparently, after they had that hour-long conversation, people came back to Michelle and told them that Laurel immediately went to a couple of her friends and was just like, oh my God, I had to listen to Michelle for a whole hour talk about her family. Like, who cares? And stuff like that. So it's basically like Laurel's playing some type of mind game with Michelle, because Michelle is a people pleaser. She doesn't want, anyone to be upset with her, anyone to have bad vibes with her, and she doesn't want to have any bad vibes with anybody else. So Michelle went into that room that Laurel and Tori were at, and she was just going to the bathroom when Laurel stops her and was like, hey, we're never going to be friends. And then everything that we saw basically happened how we saw, where, Michelle was just like, I just want to be cordial with you. And, we don't have to be friends, and that's totally fine. And she was like, we're never going to be friends. You need to stop being friends. Like, you need to stop trying to be my friend and stuff like that. And then we see Cara coming in like mid-conversation and hearing how that's all going down and hearing how Laurel's talking to her. And this is where I was just like, seeing it the first time, I was just like, oh God, why are you doing this, Cara? Don't even get involved in this. This has nothing to do with you. And after that whole conversation ends with Laurel saying, we'll never be friends, but we can be cordial. It's fine. And Cara says, well, I'll be your friend, Michelle, and hugs her and pulls her out of there. I was just like, that's not good. But then Cara, the next scene that we see is Cara talking to Emily and explaining what happened there with Laurel. And this also stems from the challenge, the daily challenge that we'll get into, where Laurel, spoiler alert, Laurel basically sabotages Era 2 in the challenge, because Emily and Nehemiah were up for elimination, and Laurel in her confessions explains that Emily is a strong female. She doesn't want to see strong females in the final, so she's basically throwing the challenge. So Emily has to go into elimination and hopefully get her out of there so she doesn't have to face her in the final. Sidebar: it's way too early to be thinking like that. 2, do not then act all amazed when people are picking you to be the next target. Like you are it's mind-boggling to watch Laurel on this season, because she basically contradicts herself every other confessional that she does on this goddamn show. She contradicts herself every single time. It's insane. But
it's almost like she has multiple personalities. And I'm not saying that to be like facetious. Like, I don't think she remembers the bullshit that she says, because she just says so much stuff that makes no sense. And I'm like, there's no way someone is this intelligent to the point where they are literally a doctor and they talk in circles this much. And it is so strange to me to try to listen to her, because I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, and I mean, people that are on the show are like, that's not what happened. I saw it with my own 2 eyes, and that's not what happened. And she's like, well, you're wrong. And I'm like, what? The manipulation is insane.
It's amazing to me. It's quite amazing how much she is just a hypocrite or just contradicts herself every other word she says.
First off, Cara, when she has the whole thing with Michelle and Cara just comes up like, I'll be your friend. Cara knew what she was doing with that. That was a little like, all right, let me throw this at Laurel here and kind of start something. And then it just snowballed from there. Oh God.
I was going to continue with basically how the real fight happen. So they're downstairs and Laurel is in the kitchen. She's making herself a sandwich. Cara is down there. She's getting her hair dyed and I guess going to like the sink to basically, you know, finish up on things, getting her hair dyed. And they basically get into this conversation where, you know, Laurel's like, oh yeah, is everything okay with you? You seem like that you have an attitude. And she's like, yeah, no, you seem like you have an attitude. You're coming at Michelle. You're coming at Darrell. Darrell, you're coming at me. Like, what is wrong with you? Why are you causing issues with everyone where everyone in this house does not like you? And Laurel's like, well, when you point the finger at one person, you'll have 3 people pointing the finger back at you. And it turns into like this whole like back and forth between them. And how they edited it was just the challenge production. This was the worst case of the challenge production editing stuff to make one person not look as bad as what really went down, because multiple people from the season said that this fight was much worse than what we saw. But really what it looks like is that, you know, Cara and Laurel are raising their voice. Laurel is hovering over Cara and getting in her face saying, I had your back. And they do the whole flashback to Rivals, which was, Jesus Christ, Rivals was in 2011. What are we even talking about? Why are we even splicing that in here to 2011? That was 13 years ago.
On Cara's live, she said the same thing. She said, throw that clip away. You're throwing the one time that she had my back on this when she is not doing that here. Like, the fact that they're bringing that up and it's been over a decade is disgusting.
Yes. So she's like, I had your back. And then we get that clip. And then Cara comes back and was like, well, I had your back on All Stars 4. And we get the clip from All Stars 4 where she was basically trying to tell her, like, Nicole's using you. And Laurel yelled in her face and whatnot. And they're going back and forth. And after Cara pulled Michelle out of the room, Laurel was like, oh, well, Cara is just upset because I threw her into the first elimination, but she needs to get over it. When you literally are starting shit with Michelle because she threw you into a elimination 2 years ago. Once again, another contradiction by Laurel. But that whole back and forth happens, and what we didn't see, what they edited out, is the fact that Laurel is not talking about the Rivals one having her back. She's talking about when Cara went through basically physical, emotional, and mental abuse with Abram. And what a lot of the people on the season said is that she was mimicking the physical and emotional and mental abuse that Cara was having with that relationship with Abram, and bringing up her relationship with Kyle, where she was, emotionally and mentally abused there, and bringing all that stuff up. But that was edited out because of legal reasons, what Cara explained in her live. Because of legal reason, they had to pull that out. And that's why you see all the cast members around the fight who are pretty much disgusted with Laurel. Like Corey, who once had his roommate basically say that she was going to buy and sell his family. He's looking at this whole thing and he's just completely done. He's just completely disgusted. You got Josh in there who's trying to comfort Cara at the same time. You got Devin who's just shaking his head at the whole situation. You got Naya who looks disgusted in there. So yeah, it just was a very bad thing going on. Like, it was just and that's why Cara had such an emotional response where she starts crying, because she's basically having, her trauma thrown back in her face over what was really a petty fight about what's going on in this season, where Laurel threw her into the first elimination. And no, she's not over that. And Laurel's coming at Michelle, and Laurel's coming at Darrell. And I think that Cara, if you believe that Cara started this fight here, or this argument here, That's totally fine because like I said, I didn't think that was the right move to get involved in the whole thing with Michelle. But I also understand where Cara is coming from, where she explained that she has dealt with this mental mind games that Laurel plays with certain people for over a decade now. And she didn't want to see someone else like Michelle become the next victim for Laurel. And that's why she wanted to stand up for herself, stand up for other people, and come into this whole situation. But it got really bad. It was a nice moment afterwards with Cara being comforted by Ryan and Rachel and Tina in the room afterwards, and Emily, where they're all like giving her the support that she needs because she basically just had her trauma thrown back into her face like that. And Laurel basically doesn't really have that type of support because a lot of people saw what happened and understood what happened and weren't there to kind of just comfort her. She's talking to Theo, who's just trying to make his little meal in the kitchen, and she's talking to Kylan, who wasn't even there, but he's got to do a whole confessional where he's like, "Oh, I don't believe in Cara being the whole victim in this, and that it goes both ways. And I feel like Laurel was getting thrown things in her face, and that's how she reacted. So I'm not going to feel bad for Cara in that whole situation." But what we've also heard from people on the challenge is that Kylan was sucking up to Laurel and was attracted to Laurel, and that's the whole reason why he did that whole confessional there.
And he also swears that the confessional was about a different argument that the two of them had. He says that they had a different argument and he did that confessional, and then they put that confessional in about this argument. And I've seen a lot of people be like, okay, we've got all these people standing here watching. Why weren't any of them given a confessional to talk about this? Because they were protecting Laurel. And I saw someone in the chat say Cara started it. Okay. Even if you believe that, we've all agreed here that we thought that she shouldn't have stepped in. Like, we've all already said this. Hold on. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. We've all already said this. We all already agree that she should have probably just stayed out of it and comforted Michelle afterwards. Okay. Doesn't matter. You don't bring up the things that Laurel brought up in any sort of argument. Like, that is a boundary that you do not cross. I don't care if Cara came in there and, immediately started arguing with her. At some point, your big ass 40-year-old self has to be the bigger person and stop throwing other people's trauma into their face to win an argument on a fucking game show. This is a game show. Like, this is not, I mean, she always wants to talk about how it's a game and it's not real life and everyone takes it all so seriously. Yet she's the one who acts like somebody shot her dog every time they throw her into an elimination or something. She'll throw a game, and if people on her team threw the challenge, then she'd be having a meltdown about it. But because it's her, it's gameplay and it's okay. Like, this woman needs professional help. That's all there is to it. There's a million different ways that you can bring it up, and it's concerning that she's this age and still acts like she's half this age, because that's not normal behavior. It's not normal to speak to somebody that way. Somebody that you claim to not care about, that they're insignificant in your life, yet you want to hurt them that badly. That's not normal.
Laurel has never been able to dial it back. Like, when she's on this show, somebody's saying, somebody, same person, just saying, like, I feel like Laurel's nice off the show and not nice on the show. Maybe she's nice off the show. I don't know. She can be a jerk on social media.
I mean, I'm blocked. So
me and Cher both know that because we're both blocked.
You guys are.
She doesn't know how to regulate her emotions.
Like, on the show, she's certainly just, if you come at her, not even if you come at her, because we saw just an episode ago when it came to Emily and Darrell, it's like, oh, well, if you do anything to her, whether it's in line with the game or not, and it's been in line with the game. She's going to attack and dig at the easiest thing she can attack and dig at. And that's how she has been for a very long time now. So yes, Cara probably should have just consoled Michelle elsewhere instead of doing this kind of show in front of Laurel. But then Laurel has to not react the way she reacts because she always goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yes. I tell my kids all the time, if they say, like, you guys have kids, so you understand. They'll get into it, and then I'll be like, just stop. Just leave each other alone. Take a break. Go away from each other. Don't touch each other. Don't talk to each other. Well, he made me act that way. And I'm always like, no. Nobody made you have these behaviors or react the way. You are in control of your own emotions and your own behaviors, and you can't blame it on somebody else and be like, well, my brother looked at me, so now I'm gonna punch him in the face. Like, no, that's not how this works. And I'm constantly, and we've discussed, my older son, he has adjustment disorder and anxiety, and he has trouble regulating his emotions, but he's 10. Like, he's not 40, he's 10, and we are working on regulating his emotions. And if he gets upset, he removes himself from a situation instead of intentionally saying things to try to hurt whoever he's upset with. And that's her problem. If somebody, even just like the inkling of pisses her off, she's done and she's gonna explode. Like, can you imagine her in traffic? That woman absolutely has the worst case of road rage. Like, my God. Because just anything, like, it's like the freaking clock can show a minute later than what she thought it was, and she's gonna explode. I'm like, this is at a certain point, it is on Bunham Murray that they keep putting her in this situation, because it's not healthy to her and it's not healthy to the people that have to be around her. Like, I get that the reason that they actually banned Camilla was because of the racist tirade, but Camilla had gotten to that point outside of everything with her crazy behavior. I mean, she was the freaking Camillinator. Like, she was breaking shit and she was abusive towards people, and everybody is always like, wow, she was crazy, she shouldn't have been on this show. Laurel does the same thing. Like,
and the crazy part, not to interrupt you, but the crazy part is Camilla didn't even get kicked off of the challenge because of the racist tirade against Leroy. It was because of Champs versus Pros, where she stole a golf cart at the hotel and attacked one of the production assistants. That's what got her kicked out. Not, she won $500,000 on the season that she had a racist tirade. That's insane. Looking back, that was in 2017. How did she get away with that?
Okay, well, I saw that the guy in the comments said, if you know what she's been through, you would understand why she is the way that she is. Okay, everybody's been through some shit.
Yeah.
That doesn't give you the excuse to be abusive towards other people. Like, if Cara started behaving that way, I can promise you none of us would be supporting her. And it wouldn't be an excuse of, well, she's been through some stuff. So has everybody else. Like,
yeah. To throw someone's trauma in their face, it's not two different things from Laurel and Camilla. Camilla was very racist to Leroy. But to throw someone's trauma and physical, mental, and emotional abuse in their face in an argument about a game, like, yeah, nah.
Yeah, Camilla.
It's not two different things. It's very online where you're crossing a certain line to what you're doing to the people that you're supposed to be just playing a game with, people that you have to live with. Someone that you used to call your sister, someone that helped you go into veterinarian school, like helped you with jobs and stuff like that. Like, you've admitted that. This is not how you speak to, if it was just a Michelle and her having an argument and that's what comes out, that's one thing. This is someone that she always talks about. They have a sisterly bond. They have all this. They have all this history. You know things about her that not a lot of other people will know. And to throw that back in her face is just, it's disgusting. It's not right.
And I mean, Camilla was more of a physical outburst person. She was the person who in a relationship would be the one who's going to smack her partner, while Laurel's the person who in the relationship is going to berate her partner. Those are both abuse. Physical and verbal. They're both abuse. They're both the same. Just one of them is making the marks on the inside instead of the outside. They're both traumatic. They're both awful. Coming from someone who was in an abusive marriage, who had both of those things, one is not better than the other. Like, they are both terrible things. And I just think that, I personally, this is just my opinion, obviously, I think Laurel was happier when she wasn't on the challenge. I don't think it's a good environment for her. I think it's toxic for her and it's toxic for everyone else. And she's way too competitive. And I mean, you want to be competitive on that show, but she's competitive to a level where it is unhealthy.
She's competitive to, yeah. I like her competitiveness. I've always liked Laurel's competitiveness. That's why I think she makes for such a good challenger.
Yes.
But then when you get away from the game, it becomes an unhealthy type of thing. Like the way she speaks to people in the house and things. It doesn't make, like, this, to me, this isn't good television.
No.
Like I'm watching it and I'm just like, I like the drama of these shows. That's why, we sometimes watch these shows. But I'm watching this and I'm like, this isn't fun. This isn't entertaining for me to watch. Like I'm not saying I want it to be all competition, but it's just much better when when the drama centers around the competition and not petty and personal kind of things like that.
If we weren't talking about this show weekly, I would be fast forwarding through the parts where they're arguing and everything. Like, I'm only watching it so that we can talk about it because it makes me uncomfortable. Like, we all always laugh at me having my meltdowns about the people on Love is Blind singing songs in the other room and how uncomfortable it makes me. This is right up there with it. It's like a cringe. I don't want to watch this. I am so uncomfortable for everyone in this situation right now, and it's not even happening to me. Like, that's how I feel about it every single week. I'm like, God, here's another one. Like, I'm at the point where I'm just ready for one of them to go home.
I don't know if any of them is going home anytime soon.
I know, that's the part.
Well, if I'm Era too, I'm throwing next week. I'm throwing this week.
Yeah. I thought about that. When the nominations were
gonna have Laurel's back.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Bananas is gonna have her back, and I want to say, I think I may have sent it to you guys, but people that are watching may have not seen it. Emily's interview with Bananas about the fight. I thought she was so well spoken in that interview, explaining, like, she really was thinking through everything that she was saying, and her describing their dynamic as a big sister, little sister always trying to get the big sister's approval. And she even said, like, I don't think that Cara is 100% innocent. I think we can all agree in that. Like,
100%.
Like, Cara does pick at her sometimes, but she basically told Bananas, like, it doesn't matter. You can't act like that. And I did appreciate that he didn't interrupt her, because that's usually what Bananas does. He's usually interrupting everybody. And he actually seemed to listen to what she was saying. But the thing is, if Bananas wasn't pissed off at Cara, he wouldn't even be getting in the middle of all this. Like,
no, Bananas would not be defending Laurel if this was anyone else Laurel was doing this to.
Yes, he's only doing it because it's Cara. And him and Cara have the big brother, little sister relationship. So I'm like, what even, like, everybody does this, and in a few years, him and her will be getting along again, and then Carl will be the worst person ever. So I'm like, whatever, bananas. Like, your opinion is so insignificant on this to me. So whatever.
The episode with him and Jordan basically doing the Laurel defense attorney, the one week before this recent interview with Emily, it's one of the worst examples of mansplaining a woman's dynamic that I think I've ever seen. Like them trying to say that Cara is the little sister who throws rocks at the big sister and then hides her hands and then gets upset when the big sister responds. It was just like, do y'all realize how dumb y'all both sound? Like, let alone what Jordan was wearing during the interview. He looked like a dumbass. But like, y'all sound like the biggest idiots in the goddamn world. And yes, I'm gonna drag y'all worse than I dragged Brandon and Leroy. Y'all two, no wonder y'all are in your near mid 40s and y'all both single. Y'all both single because y'all don't understand women.
Okay, I do want to say I don't ever need Jordan's opinion on anything revolving women. First off, he's probably slept with them. And that, like, your opinion's already irrelevant to me because you've probably slept with them. But second off, mind your own damn business, dude. Like, he just pisses me off anyway. This is off topic, but I'm gonna forget about it if I don't say it. I know SP3 has been a little rough on our friend Leroy, but we do want to send our condolences to him. His father passed away this past week, so
condolences.
Best wishes to Leroy and his family. It's always tough. All right, are we good on Cara and Laurel? I did everything that happened. Like, again, it was uncomfortable parts of it. I was cackling at you point a finger 3 points back at you. I'm like, this is what you tell your children of, and it's like, when you point the finger 3 point back at you, and then the kid is like, okay, well, I'll point the finger like this. That way all 5 of them are now pointing at them.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah, when she's
how excited I am to see this list and see that I have like 2 people left on this show since I missed the end of the show last week. It's gonna be like Jordan, and that's it. Like, that's all I'm gonna have.
Jordan and Cara.
After I just told Jordan I didn't want to hear his opinion on anything.
Before we get into like the daily challenge on this episode, I think that like the most interesting things that happened before the daily challenge was, speaking of Michelle, we got the first inklings of the Michelle and Devin relationship. And as she calls it, the Vacation Alliance.
Yeah.
And it was very cute. It was very cute. Her talking about it, that she's always kind of had a crush on Devin, and this is the first time he's actually been available. And Devin talking about like he has a certain rule where he doesn't like to get into any like hookups or relationships on the challenge, but Michelle is the exception to the rule. It was very nice and cute. I loved Olivia being the one that pointed it out to the cameraman that they were over there kissing as Theo was ranting about he woke up and he was the king of Britain or some shit. I don't even know what Theo was ranting about at that point. And they also talked about the Vacation Alliance. So shout out to Gamer Vev, who basically got the biggest endorsement that the Gamer Vev has ever gotten on the challenge, because they were the one that originally came up with the whole Vacation Alliance of Josh, Devin, Tori, Casey, and Nani and Anissa that were in that original pick together. But yes, I loved how Josh was like, "Oh, it's not a thing. It's not a thing," and then Tori was the best, who came off the best in the whole thing, because she's like, yes, it is a thing. It is a thing. It is an alliance. It's what we are. That's what we are. It is a thing. And then Josh, oh my God, he might be one of the most unself-aware individuals that's ever been on a reality show, because he says, oh, they're mad at us because we're friends and we go on vacation and we dominate every season. Sir, have a seat. What season have you dominated? I would love to find out. I would love to find out.
Him, Anissa, and Nani. Tell me what seasons you 3 have dominated.
But yeah, that was the most interesting things. But also before the challenge, there was that little conversation between Devin and Nehemiah, where Nehemiah pitched to Devin about Era 2 aligning with Era 3. And I loved how Devin kind of handled this, where he's like, I'm not going to make any agreement with you without talking to my number one of Tori, who's also up for elimination with me. So I can't say yes, I can't say no. It sounds intriguing, but I can't say yes, can't say no. Nehemiah should have pulled out the ace card, because the one common denominator between Devin and Nehemiah is Wes. Why you couldn't do it like Amanda tried to pitch the whole alliance with Corey? Like, let's do it for Nelson. Y'all should have been like, let's do it for Wes. But nope, he's a part of the Vacation Alliance.
Did I send you guys the video of the thing that didn't air when CT intentionally acted all pissed at Theo, and he didn't even care, and he was freaking tee-heeing with Nehemiah?
Yes, that was great.
That was amazing. The way he turned that on and went into old CT and then was just like laughing about it afterwards was so funny. Oh my god.
You poke the bear and the bear wakes up.
Yes, he went back to old CT and just yelled at Theo for basically just like putting his feet up, and then he just tried to scare him. And Theo didn't seem super bothered, but the fact that CT and Nehemiah were just like laughing about it is like, oh yeah. Other people seemed like, oh, CT, it comes out every now and again. You sometimes just see it, and they seemed that they took it more serious than Theo did. And but yeah, that was good stuff from CT, which they should have shown on the challenge, because they were talking about, since CT was up for elimination, they were talking about, oh, you don't want to see CT, like no matter what, like there's still the intimidation factor and everything. Like they should have shown that on there, like, oh, this is why you don't want to see CT, is like you don't know that this monster might come out on the show. They did the daily elimination, which was getting, I don't know, getting this like cross through a forest essentially. And Era 2 looked like they were going to win until Laurel decided they were not going to win, because she wanted Emily to go into elimination. And that was basically that.
So other than contradicting, I think the only thing that she's worst at is acting.
Yes.
Because she just made it so obvious she was throwing the challenge. She's just standing there, dropped the whole thing, and just standing there the whole time. Era 4 was probably the most cohesive of the teams, and no wonder that they were the team that got it done and won the challenge, which was funny, because we also started off before the daily challenge where they basically, Era 4 confronted Josh on him lying last week.
And not nominating himself, because once he saw CT was nominated, he's like, okay, never mind.
But I love how Josh threw it back at them, where he was like, "Oh, I heard a rumor that that the only reason CT nominated himself because he got word that I was nominating myself, so I was told not to nominate myself because of that." I love him, because he's basically being like, "What are y'all snitched? What are you snitched?" That's the whole reason I didn't nominate myself. Good response, Josh. He covered his ass. But it made it funny, because you should have just nominated yourself, because y'all won. You would have had power. You would have had control. But he didn't want to risk it. So yeah, Era 4 won this one. They worked really well together. Didn't have any miscommunication. Yeah, Laurel it was very close towards the end, until Laurel decided to just throw the challenge and drop the whole thing. Era 3, they had really bad communication, and really it came down to Jordan and Tori, where Tori was like, "Oh my God, I'm working with my ex-fiance, and I hate when he gets like this," where he's just yelling at everybody on the team, like, I'm tired. It's like, Jordan, oh my God, you don't even know how to talk to women. How do you sleep with all of them? It's amazing. But then you had Era 1, where Era 1, man, they've just been a mess.
Yeah,
we wanted the best for them. They have been an absolute mess. Basically, Tina had the best strategy, but no one was really listening to her. CT was like, "Oh, that's not going to work," and she was right. You should have just bobbed and fucking weave, motherfucker. I love her. I love her and CT arguing at the end, and then like 2 minutes later, CT's like, "You know what, Tina? I'm sorry I yelled at you." And Tina's like, "You know what, CT? I'm sorry." I was like, "Oh my god, these two people would have never done that on Inferno 2. They have grown so much."
Yeah, they are just like, we're doing this because we care, we want to win, we care, we're trying hard, and like it's not going our way, so like it brings out like competitiveness. Then it's just like, well, all right, well, we lost, what else are we gonna do? Sorry about it. And then let's just make up and apologize. The growth of these two, it's good to see.
Yeah, so they basically decide after the challenge that they're not going to say anything during the whole deliberation. They're just going to let the cards lie how they may. And we see before the deliberation, Nehemiah had a conversation with Era 4. Basically, like Era 3 is making, alliances with everybody. So, and making deals with everybody. So, you need to probably pick them to go in. And Nehemiah just played this whole wrong. From the very beginning, he played this whole situation wrong because Devin just had the ace in the pocket. Like, dude, you tried to make a deal with me and I turned you down. And it was just like, all Nehemiah could do was, shh, 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 I'm talking. Shh. No, you already lost. When you're doing that in a debate, in an argument, nah, you already lost, dude. And he's like, yeah, I didn't take the deal with you because we are aligned with Era 4. So he was like, you're just exposing yourself here. And CT and Tina are just smiling, laughing the whole time. So we basically knew from that point forward that Emily and Nehemiah were going into the elimination against Era 1. And Era 3 and Era 4, the Vacation Alliances is washing these Era 1 and Era 2 peeps, man. They're dwindling while they are still pretty much strong from the very beginning. So the elimination was Nehemiah versus CT and Tina versus Emily. The only other tidbit to add was there was like controversy about Janae. Janae was supposed to be the next up for Era 3 as they're doing we're going to volunteer, nominate ourselves and everything. And she was very hesitant about it. She had the whole conversation with CT about, I don't think I should nominate myself. And CT's like, well, you're playing kind of selfish right now because it is a team game right now. You can't think like that. There is a risk, but you should just, if your team has the whole nomination thing, you should have said something from the very beginning, not when it's your turn. Like, I was like, he makes a good point, John. You should just nominate yourself, or you're gonna get screwed over anyway.
And then she got picked anyway, so
yeah. Spoiler alert. She's like, well, Nehemiah's not gonna pick me because we did All Stars together. You won All Stars. He didn't. Like, that's the difference.
So the elimination was you had to take. It was a board with nails in it, and you had to take all the nails out, and then there was another board with no nails in it, and you had to nail nails into that board. And Tina, just Home Depot Tina over here, raked all of these nails down, and they came out with ease. And Emily tried to do the same thing, and it made it worse. Nehemiah and CT tried to do the same thing, and it didn't really work out for them. Tina just completely destroyed this competition. And then,
so what do y'all think? Do y'all think it was rigged?
Oh, has there been discussion about this? Like, I don't.
It's been a big. It's been being called Nailgate.
Because I don't look at the challenge like
Listen,
Reddit.
I think everything is rigged. I am a challenge conspiracy theorist. I believe everything is rigged, but you know what? I don't care. Good for
me either. I'm here for Tina.
Like, I like Emily. Emily didn't seem too into this season.
Yeah.
And she basically even said, I think this is it for me. I'm not the person that I was when I first started doing the challenge and everything. It was good to see her back. She did good. Maybe she could do All Stars instead. That might be, just a better fit for her than the regular one, just staying on All Stars. But who in the world thought that in 2024 we would have Tina winning a freaking elimination?
Against Emily.
Against Emily. The first time Emily's ever been eliminated from a challenge season. The first time, her first loss ever. That's insane. Like, that's why I said, like, I asked the question, but I was gonna give the same answer as Cher. I was like, I don't really care. I like Tina. Tina's the homie. I talk to her all the time on social media. When I see one of my posts, I comment. She responds back. That's the homie. I'm happy for her. If they did rig it, I understand why the production would rig it, because Tina is the second to last woman from Era 1. So basically, they would be having to go the rest of the season with Rachel always being the target for as long as they're doing the team portion. It would always be Rachel because Tina would be gone, and she's the only girl left on the Era 1. So I understand if production rigged it, but I don't care. Tina made it look so smooth. It made it look like it was for real, and she's just like. She was like, it sounded like a machine gun, Emily said. And then Emily tried to do it, and she couldn't do it. So, man, Tina, Home Depot Tina, she was very impressive here and got the win handily, honestly. Handily. That's the even crazier part.
Yeah. Yeah, that one wasn't competitive. CT and Nehemiah was at least close, but yes, Tina and Emily was not close at all. It did. You could tell that when they tried to make CT and Nehemiah a little bit more dramatic. It did look like Nehemiah was a good 5 nails ahead of CT, and it's like, oh, he's gonna have to make up a lot of ground, and it's tough to make up ground in something like that. I still think there's gonna be a redemption house element to this. I don't feel like CT's just gone. I refuse to believe it. Absolutely refuse to believe it.
I mean, we shall see, but I love the people that were like, oh, CT has a construction background. If you have ever hammered a nail and you saw how CT was holding that hammer, you know that either he had a construction job when he was 16, and that was 30 years ago, or he's never done construction. And like he said, he just comes from a blue collar family that people have worked in construction.
I think they both were almost thrown off by Tina's method, because Tina made that look very easy, and they're like, oh, this is all it is. And then they did it, and then it's like, oh, this didn't work at all. And it screwed them both up. Like, if you just go forward and you do what you're supposed to do, which is, Emily, first off, looked like she had no idea how to take a nail out of the board. She was using the flat part of the hammer, trying to get the nail out. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I want to say, as someone who builds everything, it really stressed me out trying to watch Emily. I'm like, girl, what are you doing?
But they both, Nehemiah and CT, like, once they saw how Tina did it, like, oh, we'll just do this and it'll work. And then it just completely threw them off because the nail bent instead of coming out. Where if they had just started at the very beginning of just yank, 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 or at least use the head to kind of rake down a little bit more, maybe it would have worked better for them. But yes, I think the Tina method threw them off enough, and it just screwed them both up. Let's pull up the draft board here, and I think you survived this week, Cher. Because I lost Emily, and SP3 lost his number 1 overall pick in CT.
Damn it, Chris.
That's where things stand.
So I've got Cara, Jordan.
That's not bad. Look, you could have worse people.
And Derek. Cara, Jordan, Brad, and Derek. Oh my god.
Well, Cara and Jordan.
You got two Era 1 people, man. You're not doing so.
But Cara and Jordan might be like, you're okay with that, I feel like.
SP3, you're win the whole season with that.
SP3, you've got Tina and Rachel from Era 1 with the way, which, like, it seems okay, but the way Era 1's been performing in the dailies, one of them is always going into the elimination.
Hey, we should get points. We should get points for elimination wins. That's
maybe next year.
Next season.
Yeah, maybe next year we'll do it instead of the getting eliminated and then last person surviving, we will institute
no.
sort of.
That's
more math for me. That's more math for me.
You get. I'll do the math of it, where you get like a certain amount of points from elimination, certain amount of points for daily wins.
I'll do the complaining.
Okay.
And no, I have Cara is era 2, Jordan is era 3, Brad is era 1, and I don't have Derek Kaczynski. I have Derek Chavez. So I have another era 2.
Okay. You're safer.
Era 4 people. Did I even draft anybody from era 4?
Horacio.
Yeah, Horacio. Well, he got scammed, so that's not fair.
And Paulie. You had Paulie.
Yeah. And you got... Oh, no, that's me.
I picked the worst people humanly possible. Like, Polly, no thanks. Like, what is even happening this season? Good thing that you guys never bought a loser trophy, because I'll just still be holding mine.
I hitched my wagon to the Bananas Laurel Alliance, which could go well or could completely blow up this week, and I might be screwed like on this upcoming episode. If I survive this episode, I'll feel very good moving forward. But there's a very real possibility that Era 2 smartly tries to throw the challenge this week and they both go in. Very real possibility of that.
Can't wait.
I mean, I would throw it if I'm Era 2.
I won't be sympathetic.
Oh, I mean, it's Banana and Laurels. I honestly, I won't be sympathetic if Laurel kind of gets what she deserves in the game. Bananas has been whatever. He's just been almost coasting through this challenge.
I think next season I'm going to draft Josh first overall. I just want to see how it goes.
He's done okay.
I'm really bad about just drafting who I like, and so I think that I'm gonna be like, you know what? Never heard of this person. Second pick.
All right. Anything else we need to hit on here? They did the karma points. CT gave Laurel a high score, and Emily gave Brad a high score. Those are the only two things.
No, he gave Cara a high score, CT.
Yeah, sorry. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, he gave Cara a high score, and Emily gave Brad a high score.
I knew you were wrong, and I still didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, he gave it to Laurel.
Yeah, that's my fault. That was, yeah.
Oh, man. That's hilarious. Okay. Yeah, and Emily gave Laurel a 1.
Yeah, fair. Fair enough.
I agree with that decision.
I don't know how these karma points are going to work. I swear if it works the way it did on All Stars, where it basically decided the final, I'm going to be so mad.
That's what I'm worried about.
It cannot be like, I don't even know. It's going to be like a 3-hour race, and you got the most karma points. You get a 2.5-hour head start. Like, great. Thanks for telling us who's going to win.
I would do it like whoever gets the most karma points, the two people who get the most karma points, or the woman who gets the most karma points and the man that gets the most karma points, they are the team captains for when this breaks down to just two teams.
Okay.
I would do it like that.
Yeah, they gotta do something to where it matters, but it doesn't decide the entire or the entire final, because that really took the energy out of the final on All Stars. Like, oh well, Laurel wins. She had the most advantages going into it. Like, she got to skip 5 of these things and only had to do 2. Everybody else had to do 4. Of course she's gonna win this. There's really no coming back from that. Yeah, I just hope it doesn't play as big of a factor as it did there. All right. Anything else we need to talk about?
I think that's everything for me. I talked about 90 days already. So
okay. Cher, Delware, would you like to plug anything?
Of course not.
Okay. SP3, like plug anything?
Well, SP3 pro tip: get Tina's board.
And you can follow me on Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3, and I will be live at 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time with the Rated Raw review, reviewing last night's Monday Night Raw with Romeo's finally back, apparently, hopefully. And Chase Oliver will be joining me for that. And check out my latest list over at SI.com. I did the 10 highest paid WWE wrestlers, and oh my god, that was very difficult to do because WWE don't tell you nothing about their contracts. So took me like a week to do that. So check it out.
There you go. Appreciate everybody hanging out. We'll be back next week talking more about the challenge. We're getting close to our NBA preview. Training camps open soon. Should have media day pretty soon. So getting close to our NBA preview. Till then, bye.